the Goyer here.
Am I a Goy?
Yeah, you are.
Israel is the pulse of the universe. We are the chosen nation to come and protect the world.
I want to play a fun game. Is this person anti-Semitic?
There was real appetite in Israel for depopulating Gaza, making sure we never have this problem again.
What do you mean by
Including
depopulating? Let's say there's a Palestinian family there, bulldoze the house, or just move in outright and say that's mine now.
Doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Doesn't exist.
It is happening in the world right now. To say otherwise is kind of like you're closing your eyes.
All of you Goy watching at home, you're welcome to come on down.
What was the deal with the tunnel? Can we break the news on that once and for all? Do you think the questions I've had for you so far are fair game and okay to ask?
Most of your questions have been fair.
I hear the rationale.
It's what I would expect anybody who's online and sees the discussions that are going on. This is what's out there.
Never in my lifetime have I seen Jewish people under such intense scrutiny.
Anti-Semitism rising on the home front. The Manhattan Institute poll showed an alarming increase in anti-Jewish, anti-Israel sentiment.
People are looking to point the finger, and they point the finger at the Jewish people.
And so now the propaganda is the Jews are the oppressors, they're committing genocide in Gaza.
I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to the world today.
And with everything circulating the internet, I have so many questions I wanted to ask the Jewish community. So different, I think, Talmudic verses have been floating around the internet. One of them is that Jesus is reportedly burning in excrement in hell.
Not excrement, in sperm.
So I hit up my Jewish friends and connections in order to help me infiltrate the most Jewish place in the country, New York City. And to be more specific, we went to Brooklyn to get embedded with the Chabad Lubavitch community. You know, the ones with the tunnel controversy. Today, folks, is a deep dive as we head to synagogues, Jewish-dominated neighborhoods, and sacred religious sites to ask Jewish people the most controversial and sometimes uncomfortable questions that I think many of us have. So buckle up, folks. Let's head to the most Jewish place in America.
A lot of you are probably wondering, Tommy, are you afraid to do this episode? And the answer is, of course, because I've noticed a pattern that when people talk about these kinds of things, it can end up in job loss, debanking, getting kicked off of social media platforms, which is a pretty big risk to take for what I think is free speech. However, I don't think any group or topic should be off limits to fair and reasonable questions. But first, guys, I need to ask you a favor. I'm very sure this video will be shadow banned into oblivion, and the only thing that can help that is you, the audience. So please hit the like button, write a comment, and consider each of these actions as a salute to those that chase the truth. I love you guys. Let's get into it.
Folks, we are in the beautiful New York City, which happens to be the most Jewish place in the country. And never in my entire life have I seen Jewish people questioned, scrutinized, thought about this much in the public eye. And I thought if you want to understand someone, you go straight to the source. We're also going to be brave and ask the hot button questions that I see circulating all over the internet. I think the truth should never be afraid to speak. I don't think anyone in this country should be above criticism. And some of us are wondering, is there a double standard of who's allowed to be talked about? If bombs are involved, I think we get to question what's going on. And I hope by the end of this, we can find common ground. Most content creators are afraid to talk about certain topics. They were before Charlie Kirk. That kind of changed everything when Charlie Kirk died. Israel started being talked about. Judaism started being talked about. And I think everything's yin and yang. If you classify one group is all bad, I think you're doing the wrong thing. Very excited to start this episode. Let's get into it. Folks,
What's up?
Tracks NYC.
Bro, how are you? It's good to see you again.
How are you doing?
I know you're on a mission. Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm trying to relax. Shabbat's over. The Goyer here.
This is my friend Trax NYC, who I met when I did a profile piece on him and his jewelry business back in 2023. He is the son of a Muslim father and a Jewish mother and is a very proud, outspoken Jewish man. Let's see what he makes of my controversial questions. Am I a Goy?
Yeah, you are. Goy means just people of the nation if you read the Hebrew Bible, but, we'll talk all about it. This is the Jewish neighborhood of Rego Park, man. Rego Park, Forest Hills. After World War II, a lot of European Jews came here. But then in the 80s and the 90s, from the collapse of the Soviet Union, we had Jews from the Soviet Union. That's how I got here.
Is the Goyim to be avoided?
No, of course not. I mean, it's just a slang word for people from other nations, but it turned into describing, you know, from some Jewish perspective, how some other people might seem. If I would use the word goyim, it'd be somebody watching TV, buying some shit from television. The television beams are going in their eyes, scrambling their brain. I want this, I want this. They don't even know, eating some, you know, factory farm shit, not giving a fuck, you know? That's really what it is.
When we read online, like there's Talmudic verses,
Right.
you can lie to the goyim, steal from the goyim, cheat the goyim.
Yeah.
Is that scripture?
Listen, no, well, this is a religion that's been around for over 3,000 years, okay? So a lot's been written, a lot's been said. No.
Folks, you are hearing me ask a lot of questions about quotes from the Talmud, and for those not familiar, the easiest way to picture the book is this. Imagine if debating rabbis participated in a chat room conversation that logged all of their comments in one place and no topic was off limits. Topics like, is it okay to have sex with a 3-year-old? Or can you lie to the goyim? It's an incredibly long book that has over 2.5 million words of text, and it's been at the root of much of the controversy questioning Judaism recently. I am worried that there could be cancellation, that I could have income streams cut off from doing a piece like this, just asking fair, honest, genuine questions. What do you think about that?
That's a shame. I don't know what can happen. You know, I saw some YouTuber got his account closed. He did this, he did that. Here's what's not going to happen to you here. You're not going to get stabbed. Your money's not going to get robbed. You might try some good restaurants, and you might hear some good advice. So that's where you're at.
Speaking of food, shall we go get some kosher food and jump into this Jewish world?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
You're not going to feed us goy slop, are you?
Nah, you're going to have the best food you've ever fucking had, farm boy.
There's a statistic that there's more Jewish Americans in the IDF fighting than there are in the United States military.
They probably think that the U.S. military is good, and if they're gonna fight, they gotta fight for this little scrap of desert out there. You know, it's not the most patriotic thing, but it could be worse, man.
Do you think there's been more scrutiny and awareness of the Jewish population now than ever in your almost 40 years of life?
Yeah, the comfort zone that the Jewish people had after the Holocaust has been erased because of the war in Gaza.
There's millions of peaceful people that follow what God wants, Muslims, Christians,
Right.
Jewish people, and beyond. But when people start doing destruction in the name of God, I just find it hard to celebrate.
That's the problem, bro. Where is God in our lives? And that's not a question we're gonna answer on an empty stomach. That's why we're gonna get ourselves a little nibble, boys.
Mazel tov. Even though we have some disagreements about this subject, we're breaking bread, we're shaking hands, we're having a good time, and that's what civil discourse is in this country.
And just make sure you work hard and fund the Iron Dome. That's all.
All right, we're gonna keep eating dinner. We'll see you guys in a little bit. How long ago was this spot promised to you?
Promised land parking, promised since the beginning of time, if not before then, Goy boy.
Gang, gang. All right, folks, we're going back out into the wild here. This time we're heading to the famous 7070 building, which if you saw that mattress tunnel story that surfaced, this is where we're going. And we actually went here years ago when we celebrated Purim. What can we expect today?
We can expect a lot of Jews dressed up. Like, I don't even know if there's a real cop. Who knows? We can check out on the street, we're going to make the walk, and we'll see people party.
Happy Purim!
How you guys feeling?
And
it was a lot of fun. But this is a place that has a lot of controversy and a lot of dedication. I think this is one of the faster growing sects amongst young Jewish people. And so it's going to be popping. Like, this is like the place to go.
Hi.
You want to do a couple interview questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some Americans in my generation are feeling that Jewish Americans are above being asked certain questions.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I hate to say it, but Jewish Americans just feel like they are just above everyone else, and everyone else is down here.
Is it anti-Semitic to ask if Jewish people run media or control a lot of it?
I don't know if it's anti-Semitic, but I know that they do. This whole world revolves around the Jewish religion, and it's wrong. And that's just my opinion. I'm like, if anyone else wants to contradict it, that's fine, but this is how I feel.
Before we go any further into the controversy, first a quick disclaimer. Folks, anyone that you see in this video, I do not want you to go after, target, attack, send me messages. That is the opposite of my intentions. We want to be on the higher ground of having civil discourse and not being hateful or predatory in our response. So thank you, please advise, and let's continue. Folks, there's so much happening in the world right now that it's very important to stay informed. And one great resource I use is Straight Arrow News. In fact, I'm using them yet again to prepare my research on the way to have some good interview questions. And I type in keywords like Israel or Jew, Jewish. Today is March 14th, and key news that's coming out right now is authorities identified the shooter that went into the Michigan synagogue. This guy rammed his truck into a temple. Security exchanged fire with him and took him out. The other thing I found interesting about this story is it's been found that an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon killed 4 of this guy's family members last week. The cool thing about Straight Arrow News is whatever you're interested in, it's important to stay informed. Whether that's US news and politics or health or tech, I think it's very powerful to arm yourself with that information. So do yourself a favor. We actually have a QR code on the screen right here. You can scan it with your phone. Just download it right now before you go any further. Straight Arrow News has been a great partner and a great resource for preparing for stories. Yet again, highly recommend you download their app using my link in the description or pinned comments or this QR code right here. It's easy, it's free, it's a no-brainer. Stay aware, stay informed. Good to meet you.
Right on time.
What's your name, sir?
Menachem.
I like that. You got a good get up.
Yes, we are. This is how we pray, and let's go inside. I'll show you how do we pray in the center of Chabad right here, and we will pray for the building of the third temple, and let's go right in. We are actually right now praying and singing for the peace in the world, and all the mountain of Jerusalem should be peaceful and be fully given to the Jews. One of the commandments in Judaism is to every single day we have to pray 3 times a day to ask for needs. So this is the main prayer, and the prayers include every single thing. It's including to have good health, to have peace, to have money, to survive, all the good things.
I guess I'll do a little prayer of my own too. I do pray for peace. I hope that this world can come together. We're in very chaotic times right now, and it feels very scary. And there's a lot of people that are suffering overseas, a lot of people making money off of war. I feel like we're about to get trespassed out of here. We got invited in, but right now I guess security is talking to them, and they looked up my name and they said I might be unwelcome here. So we're gonna figure out if we're allowed to stay. I got softly removed from this temple 3 years ago.
So he's gonna take you out now. Okay, thank you guys. It was a pleasure. Hopefully I was able to help. Thank you. God bless.
I think it's tense times right now. Turn up right now. What's the song about?
Asking for the coming of the Messiah, the Lubavitcher Rebbe.
What do people believe about this man? Can you explain the Chabad belief system?
There is a Moses in every generation.
So is he a prophet?
Yes.
Can you explain what is on your head? I thought it was a GoPro at first. I thought you were filming.
This is what's called the tefillin. You can Google it. It's a prayer that every morning every Jew is putting it on. Like you see sometime Max on it with it.
So that's connected to that.
Yes.
Almost immediately after entering the 7070 building, I started receiving suspicious looks. Shortly after, a rabbi approached the guy who invited me in, showed him my YouTube channel, and from what I can gather, told him in Yiddish that I was not allowed in the building. And very quickly, things started to feel weird. Here's what happened next.
Some people who do some research over here about security, they were asking to secure that you may bring Chabad on a negative light or against Judaism.
No, we're trying to do an honest inquiry into a lot of the questions many people have circling. We want to understand the Talmud. We want to understand what the third temple is. We are here on a journey to understand. I don't know what the security guy is saying, but...
Okay.
I mean, how often are people here studying, praying, would you say?
Every day and all day long.
And what are these books over here? Is this the Talmud?
It's not the Talmud, it's a book from the Lubavitcher Rebbe's speeches.
These are all speeches?
Correct, from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe will talk every Shabbat, usually every Shabbat for hours and hours, and I'll be documented in these books.
So study is a big part of this culture and this branch of Judaism, and I'm curious to learn more about what some of these teachings lead to, or what is hoped for in the future. I heard a lot about the Messiah, a lot about this third temple. I want to learn more about that.
Now, one of the base of Judaism is we pray for peace, we pray for the coming of Mashiach.
You hear these rabbis talking about peace and the coming of the third temple, but here's the catch. Where this temple needs to be built, there is already something there, and that's Al-Aqsa, which is one of the most sacred Muslim mosques in the world. And the part these rabbis are conveniently leaving out is that to build this third temple and fulfill the prophecy that triggers the coming of the Jewish Messiah, Al-Aqsa needs to be destroyed and replaced. Now, if Al-Aqsa gets destroyed, this will without a doubt bring the entire Muslim world into a holy war that could easily bring about World War III or IV, depending on which one we are on by then.
Now, we have an interesting card I would like to share with you guys, and this is a message from the Lubavitcher Rebbe for everybody else in the world. And this is also part written in the Torah with the 7 universal law. You can definitely share it.
So a goyim has to follow these 7 laws, but a practicing Jewish person has to follow around 600 or so?
613, correct.
But I only got to do this.
That's correct. This is 7 fundamental laws.
I see preserve human life is a big one here.
Definitely not to kill.
Waking up this morning, the family of a Tampa man killed in the West Bank is demanding the U.S. State Department to launch an investigation into his death.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health says it came at the hands of Israeli settlers.
And respect property.
Definitely.
And respect God's creatures. Do not be cruel to animals.
Correct.
Whose land is it in the West Bank?
I believe that most people who will live in the West Bank maybe will not say that openly because they're scared, but they would prefer that Israel will be the governor over there than any other groups. So if you really care about the people and be sincere what they prefer in life, they would prefer Israel to be there.
A settler would be somebody that comes from around the world and they go to the West Bank and they let's say there's a Palestinian family there, bulldoze the house or just move in outright and say this is mine now.
Doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Doesn't exist. No one will come with a bulldozer and kick out anyone.
That's all. It's all over. If you watch videos, there's actual videos of it.
You can go to the field and you'll see that doesn't exist.
How can you say that?
I visited many times and I know the people there. No one ever destroys someone's house and kick out any citizen.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No.
We're not here to talk about what's happening in the West Bank. We're talking about what's happening in New York City. We're here in New York City.
Well, I do think it's very much connected. It's overlap.
No, nothing to do. We're here to inspire people, not to judge anyone.
Can I ask you what your take is on a guy like Ben Gvir?
He looked like a great person.
יש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש. ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית.
I see a lot of people gathering. I see things being laid out. What is happening here?
The Lubavitcher Rebbe were giving dollars every Sundays for charity to Jews and non-Jews, and everyone was welcome to get the blessings. I get $1 for charity.
I can take. Is it okay?
You can go on the
It's okay if I take one? Ted Cruz is saying that he wants to introduce legislation that anyone that criticizes Israel can be put in jail for 5 years or fined up to $3,000. Would you be in favor of a law like that?
Folks, I tried to find this article about Ted Cruz again, but I cannot, and it's possible what I just said is fake news. But let's hear this rabbi's answer to the premise that someone could be put in jail for criticizing Israel. Here's what he said.
Every place and every leader need to find a solution for his own issues, how to conduct that people will behave in a nice way to each other.
Just to reverse it, if someone said if you criticize Iran, you could go to jail for 5 years or get fined $3,000, would you find issue with that?
I feel uncomfortable, definitely.
Now, do you see how the reverse would also feel uncomfortable?
Definitely. I gotta go. We'll continue.
This happened last time. As soon as I start asking
No,
real questions.
It's 11:15 already.
I do want to say this. I think in this country that it's beautiful when we can have conversations like this. I think this is the way we learn from each other. This is the way we grow. I do appreciate you welcoming me in and showing me around. I wish you the best on your studies and how you go.
Thank you.
Folks, I fear that our freedom of speech in this country is under attack. If it were up to guys like Shabbos, you might end up in jail.
You can't dictate your way out of how people think. What you can do is you can tell a bus driver in the 21st century that if you tell a black guy to go to the back of the bus, we will haul your ass to jail that night. When someone commits an anti-Semitic act, we don't send them to jail. Instead, we get the ADL to say, let's bring them to a Holocaust museum.
If it were up to this lady, you'd be not able to find a job and also not able to find a babysitter for some reason.
We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented.
Unsurprisingly, these anti-free speech laws are finding traction amongst our lawmakers. In fact, nearly 40 states around the country have made anti-Semitism laws, including just recently my home state of Wisconsin. The rules for what officially constitutes anti-Semitism comes from the IHRA, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, because I guess these guys help make policy in our country. Let's look at how they actually classify hate speech. One example is accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel than that of their own country. I think we're gonna have to ask Miriam Adelson and Ben Shapiro about this one. Number 2 is spewing classic anti-Semitic tropes like the Jews killed Jesus. Okay, what religion was Sadducees and the Pharisees that conspired to kill Jesus? I have to think about that one. And third, drawing comparisons of modern Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. Well, let's think about that. The Nazis concentrated people in open-air prisons, they blockaded supplies from civilians, they displaced millions of people, and they used dehumanizing rhetoric against their enemies. I wonder what other country in the world is doing that right now. This is America. Why the fuck are we prevented from criticizing another country across the world that is arguably the most pound-for-pound, deadly, dangerous, and destructive country on earth? It makes you wonder, who are we controlled by? Let me know in the comments if you are as concerned about these laws as I am.
I definitely got the sense that as soon as I asked questions in a certain direction, it was get them out of here kind of a energy. Are you a rabbi by chance?
I am an ordained rabbi. I don't have a congregation.
How long did you study to become a rabbi?
It's not the culmination because Torah study is something that we do throughout life. Chabad is a branch of Hasidic Judaism. Hasidism is a movement that was started close to 300 years ago in the area of Ukraine, Poland, White Russia by a rabbi called the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. Chabad's goal is to bring Mashiach. So when Tucker Carlson a couple weeks ago spoke about how Chabad subtly wants to build the Holy Temple, that's only half true because it's not subtle.
I've talked to a bunch of people about this who think that it's imminent, that it's not crazy to think that that mosque would be blown up in order to make way for the third temple.
We believe that all Jews pray 3 times a day, that for the coming of the Messiah, at which point we'll have a third Holy Temple. Jews have 613 commandments, and non-Jews, by the way, also have commandments. Non-Jews have 7 commandments that they have to fulfill. And by performing those commandments, we bring the coming of the Messiah closer.
I see what is happening in the West Bank, and I would say a lot of these rules are being violated.
How so?
Preserve human life. A lot of people have been bombed or kicked out of their home.
Why?
Why is that? That's what we're trying to figure out, is why are they being removed from their property?
You're trying to get at something, so tell me what you're trying to get at.
Do you think it is
I think
permissible by Judaism what is happening in the West Bank?
I mean, that's very broad, but yes,
I guess
here,
people getting their houses bulldozed.
If there's someone who is a terrorist who goes out and kills Jews, that one of the actions that the government takes then is to bulldoze his house.
Does Israel have rights to the West Bank?
Yes. If anything, we have more of a historical connection to what you call the West Bank than we do to Tel Aviv.
What do you think about guys like Ben Gvir?
He campaigned as a very strong right-winger, and once he got into office, he's been, I think, to a lot of his supporters, a little bit of a disappointment, but...
You think he's too soft?
Oh, yeah. There was real appetite in Israel for depopulating Gaza, making sure we never have this problem again.
What do you mean by depopulating?
Removing them to other places. I mean, Trump was talking about that. Forget about Bibi right now. Trump spoke about that, right? You remember that Trump spoke
Oh, yeah,
about that?
Trump is big on this stuff.
What's gone on in Gaza has to be taken with a very large grain of kosher salt. And if it's true, then so what?
So what?
Yeah, they have a war, and their objectives of the war. And one of the objectives of the war is to remove Hamas, remove the government of Gaza, and to be able to take over that area so it is no longer a threat to Israel. They're not specifically targeting civilians, right? Unlike Hamas, who does specifically target civilians, Israel...
You don't think civilians are being targeted?
No, they're not. Show me where civilians were targeted.
You may be getting the impression by now that these guys are giving me runaround answers, and my gut tells me it's not that they don't know, but rather that they don't want to share their real opinion. And folks, when these guys act unaware of Israeli settlers or Israeli politics, let me fill you in on this. Number 1, their Chabad movement has a massive presence across dozens of illegal Israeli settlements. Number 2, they hosted Ben Gvir in 2025 to speak at that synagogue, pray with them, and afterwards it got so feisty that a mob of Chabad guys went outside, they saw someone they thought was a protester, they chased her for blocks and blocks and blocks, they threatened to rape her, and they also chanted death to Arabs. So to me, when they play the I'm just a rabbi card, I don't buy it.
That's the majority of the casualties.
But were they targeted, or does Hamas hide behind civilians? And do they put their rocket launchers in hospitals and in schools so that you'll be asking me these questions, so that we'll be having this discussion?
Let's start with a Malcolm X quote. Can we start controversial?
Sure. I don't know much about Malcolm X, but go
Malcolm
for it.
X has a quote that says, "You can tell the truth about any minority in America, but make a true observation about the Jew, and he cries louder than anybody else." Anybody that gives even a just criticism of a Jew is instantly labeled as an anti-Semite.
I mean, is there a kernel of truth to it? Of course. Like Seinfeld did a joke about this 30 years ago that like Uncle Leo, I think the restaurant gets his order wrong and he says they're anti-Semites, right?
Yeah.
I told them medium rare. It's medium.
It happened.
I bet that cook is an anti-Semite.
So yeah, I'm sure that there are many Jews who are oversensitive to this. And by the way, not without good cause, right?
35 states right now have legislation that if you try and boycott Israel, you can be in trouble in an American
Okay,
state.
but what does that mean though? There's not a single state in America where a person could be fined or a person could be in prison for saying negative things about Israel, for calling for a boycott of Israel, even for saying things like from the river to the sea, which is essentially a call to kill millions of Jews. I think that this criticism is always an excuse to get at something else.
Fortunate, because I'm assuming she's a senior and going to graduate soon, and now this is going to jeopardize her ability to graduate.
A 23-year-old FIU student charged with a felony over messages she wrote in a school group chat. According to her arrest report, this went down in a WhatsApp group chat of about 215 students.
For this morning, growing concern after Miami Beach police showed up at a woman's home to investigate a comment that she made on the mayor's social media post.
As far as we believe, Israeli government policy should be protecting the lives of Jewish people in
Would
Israel.
you say it's protection to go onto someone else's land, take their home, and make them get out of there?
Well, again, you're saying that as if it happens with no provocation in a vacuum.
This is this thing that seems so absurd. There are 700,000 Israeli settlers right now moving through the West Bank, taking over land, beating Palestinians to death. We interviewed a Palestinian-American dad about this. His son got beaten to death by Israeli settlers. It's happening every day.
I'll just say otherwise, it's kind of like you're closing your eyes.
Because almost all these things are not real.
How is that even possible to say?
I disagree with him.
This is my Jewish friend Meir. Just as things were getting a little tense between me and the ginger rabbi, he entered the fray to see if we could find common ground.
But I also think that, unfortunately, a lot of people have a hard time with the reality that there are some really, really bad people among the settlers. Eitan, with all due respect, I think that you are missing a lot of real things that are happening on the ground. This week, 7 Palestinians have been killed by settlers. Like, it's happening, and I know, and I feel bad because I know a lot of people, we don't have access to all this information. A lot of it is online out there, and it's because it's painful. Because we want to believe that we're good and we're moral. People are really stuck in their narrative, and they're like sometimes block and filter out really horrific realities on the ground.
Do you think the questions I've had for you so far are fair game and okay to ask?
I think that most of your questions have been fair. I think they have often been coming from premises which are very skewed premises.
Right now, our politics feels like it's being heavily influenced by Israelis. That's why we're in Iran.
Oh, yeah, I hear that. I hear
and
that.
a lot of us don't like our tax dollars going to what we see as atrocities overseas. We don't like that at all.
Okay, I hear the rationale. I hear the rationale. Do I feel that there's probably a bit of an abuse? Yeah, but I feel like there's abuse every single time there's wartime. Do I wish that it was easier, and do I wish that the Israeli government was making better decisions? I feel that they are, in a certain sense, being reckless, but I feel that that's a necessary recklessness that just comes with war in general.
I appreciate you, brother. We're doing it fair. If you want to talk, we're right around the corner.
Yeah. It's clear that Tyler Oliveira's video ruffled a lot of feathers in the Jewish community. In fact, I just went to dinner last week with one of my Jewish friends, and he was pissed about Tyler's video too. However, I asked him, how was Tyler's video any different than Nick's video on the Somalian fraud, where Elon Musk and the entire right-wing establishment catapulted that video so that everyone saw it. But when it came to Tyler's video, he got deleted from Patreon. And I really think that Tyler is just scratching the surface when it comes to the criminal organizations that are within the Orthodox Jewish community. Some of you have probably seen the news stories about deed theft that are circulating. I have on good information from a friend who's formerly an FBI agent that spent years of his life investigating Orthodox Jewish crime, and he told me about the early 2000s when in the Crown Heights neighborhood there would be 8 different cash houses with $20 to $25 million each that was doing money laundering for the Mexican cartels. Furthermore, he was talking about remittance scams where they hide their assets so that they can qualify for welfare to the tune of up to $70,000 per kid in their family. And what's more is they would funnel these monies through their schools or organizations. I mean, you saw in Tyler's video where they said they do so much charity, but then everyone's on welfare, which doesn't really make sense.
How do people afford to have like 10 kids out here?
The community is based on this.
Okay, so is it wealthy members of the community give charity?
Yes, mostly. That's the way.
Are most people on Medicaid, SNAP, EBT? Be honest.
I don't know. I can't speak for other people.
What about you?
I'm not going to tell about myself.
Okay.
And it was funny to me because when I asked this Jewish friend about one of the recent Indian videos that Tyler did, he loved it because he's in the Dallas area and he's upset about some of the Indian stuff that's going on there. So to me, it was like, a got you moment where it was kind of a double standard, which is why are we able to talk about fraud with the Somalians or the Indians or another group, but not within the Orthodox Jews? And remember, before you get upset, even in Israel, the people there are mad at their own Orthodox Jewish population for their welfare usage. So Israelis can be mad at it, but not Americans, because that's anti-Semitic. Explain to me how that makes sense.
So to me, what was the difference between what Nick Shirley did with Somalians and Tyler did with the Lakewood people?
For sure, 100%. In big cities, a lot of people know Jews, right? But if you go out to a small town in Milwaukee, you go out to a small town in Ohio, go out to a small town over here, they've never seen a Jewish person before. So what happens is when you have a small group of people inside an extremely small sect of America, people across the world, they'll look at Jews and be like, they're all bad. No. Bottom line is, bro, we love everyone.
Folks, I've been seeing a lot of comments online about all Jewish box do XYZ, and I just want to say that is lazy, sloppy thinking. Anytime we say all blacks, all whites, all straights, all gays, all of anything, we end up in a bad territory with how we think. With that being said, I am curious to know what percentage of Jewish Americans are for things like ethnic cleansing in Gaza, politicians like Ben-Gvir, anti-free speech laws, dropping bombs on innocent people. Because to me, I would say these are extremist takes. And just like with the Christians, we can call out the KKK or the Westboro Baptist Church, or with the Muslims, we can call out ISIS. I believe we have every right to call out Jewish extremism as well. And for the Jewish people that tune in and watch this episode, I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments.
My name is Zach. I grew up an Orthodox Jew. I no longer identify as that, although I definitely identify as a proud Jew. I'm very Jewish.
This is Zach. Because he's a cool New Yorker and a guy that grew up heavily in the Orthodox Jewish community, he is the perfect portal between the world of the average American and that of the average Hasidic Jew. Let's see if you agree with some of the points he makes here.
I live here in Crown Heights, which is, has a huge Orthodox Chabad community. But I think all the questions you're asking are fair. We're at a point right now, I think, in the media landscape where Jews, with a lot of good reason, are a little bit wary of YouTubers. You were open about your bias, but I don't think you have an agenda. They might even have critical opinions about stuff going on in Israel or stuff going on in other Jews, but they're so afraid to bring that energy out into the world.
They have to stay united because they faced annihilation throughout the ages.
Yeah, there's real tribalism of just like, we got to protect our own. I think humans are human, man. And if you tell me that, do I think Jews are capable of doing terrible things? I think humans are capable of doing terrible things. I think humans are capable of doing wonderful things. Simple as that.
There's a conspiracy that Jews control the media. What do you think about that?
I think there are a lot of Jews in the media, and they have Jewish interests that are probably pro-Israel, yeah. But it's not the Jews running the media, not at all.
I'm gonna share with you something that happened to me with AI recently, okay?
Sure.
So I was looking to source research on the following prompt. I said, can you show me the stats regarding Jewish people occupying leadership positions within news and media organizations? AI said I cannot fulfill this request. I'm programmed with strict safety guidelines that prohibit me from promoting, validating, or providing material for established hate speech tropes. I said, okay, can you tell me about statistics of white people that occupy leadership positions within news media organizations? And it began rattling off statistics. Is there a double standard at play here?
There probably is, yeah. I have a good reason why there is, though.
Tell me.
Has anyone ever hunted down and killed and put white people in concentration camps because they believe that they were secretly running their society for bad? I'm gonna assume no, although I don't know. But people put my grandparents into concentration camps for that reason.
Are your grandparents Holocaust survivors?
Only one side. The other side was lucky enough to escape. But Yeah, like, and it's, when I say mine, it could be the royal mind. Like, look around you, like, all these people come from, like, so many of these people, like grandparents in the Holocaust. But you can understand why there's guardrails. I hope, yeah.
I actually feel like there's a danger when we're not able to joke around with each other or joke about stereotypes. What do you think about that?
I fully agree. I fully agree. I think that most people know when a joke comes from a place of real hate and real bigotry.
I saw you scroll on Tinder. How's your Tinder game going right now?
I have ADD. You were talking to my friend Meyer, and I had nothing to do, so I was scrolling Tinder, and then I was like, look, if Jews control the media, I would be getting way more matches, okay?
You've been waiting for that match for 3,000 years.
It was promised to me 5,000 years ago. But, okay, I want to make fun of you on camera, though, because to some degree, you know who you're controlled by? You're controlled by the Goyim. Because you wouldn't put on my friend's yarmulke because you're like
kissing the wall.
It's like kissing the wall. So you are trapped by the perception that you're afraid some of your followers will have of you.
But I'm also not putting on a Catholic priest robes. I'm also not gonna do a Muslim ritual.
But maybe you should be.
What do you think of Bibi?
He was hot when he was younger. That's weird. I don't like that. Nah, he's probably a bad dude. He seems like he's cut from a similar cloth of Trump, just a slightly less retarded version. I don't trust people in power, I'll be honest with you.
Are we getting encircled right now? Or you think we're safe?
No, I think these kids are gonna mug us, and you're about to get Jew jumped.
How you guys doing? Good to meet you guys. How are you? Appreciate it.
I met Tyler Oliveira.
You did?
In your opinion, who's better, you or Tyler Oliveira?
Who's better?
Yeah.
I think we're different. Now you're way better.
But who do you think has better content?
I think we each do things well. There's a reason both of us have big audiences. Did you guys take issue with Tyler's video? About the Orthodox community.
Okay, so he's kind of looking for a reason to hate us. Like, he was pointing us down. But I feel like if you come in with like a clear mind, not looking at anything else, like, then you could actually have a real opinion and could be influenced. But if you come in to like be bad and do bad things, it's what's gonna end up happening.
What was the deal with the tunnel? Can we break the news on that once and for all? In case you forgot about the tunnel incident, here's what happened. Rabbis at the synagogue got caught building a tunnel, and for what? We still aren't sure. Their spokesman claims it was just dedicated teenagers trying to expand the synagogue to fulfill the wishes of their late rabbi. But if that's true, why did grown men riot when the police showed up? And why, when rabbis were caught using it, did they suspiciously run away when they were filmed by pedestrians? Because to some, tunnels make them think of smuggling, and it leaves you to wonder, was this really just teenage shenanigans or something more nefarious? With the current information, it's impossible to say, but at any rate, I was curious to hear what these fellas had to say about the incident.
There's these kind of, say extremists who believe that 770, which is our synagogue, is too small for so many people to come in every day. It's packed. Some days you could barely like stand there normally. It's like very hard to move. So they decided like, okay, so there's not going to be power from whoever, there's no official owner of that synagogue, but they both believe to expand. But out of like ego, they're not going to agree, okay, I'll expand or I'll expand. So it's an ego problem. So these people who are extremists decide to take it into their own hands. They decide to make a tunnel and then just break the wall, and then no one's going to care. They're just going to put it back up.
Wait, so people that are for the tunnel digging, can you explain why?
It's not about whether or not you're for them or not for them. Just it's hard to understand what people, like the situation that people come from and like what's going through their head. So until you're in their shoes, you can't exactly judge them for what they did.
You don't think there was any nefarious business going down under there?
No, they're just stupid people, honestly. But like the world is naturally anti-Semitic. It's not like a thing. So when something goes wrong with the Jewish people in themselves, it's very easy to just make up things about what people do or not.
Hold on, I gotta address something that came in. So I just got a text from a guy that we had met in Purim 3 years ago. He's been kind of against some of the things I'm doing. I told him the topics we're working on. He's like, all good topics for clicks. And to me, I don't like that. It's not, this stuff is not happening in a vacuum. It's not all of a sudden that people just start to care about Jewish Americans or Israelis or the blend. It's because our real life foreign policy, wars, elections, things are being seemingly decided by these things. So I don't like it's just for clicks. Plus, it's fascinating. These are the questions people want to know.
That's fair. I understand why he said it, because like, again, like the wariness, but like at no point did we say like we think these questions are unfair. These are questions that are on Americans' minds, and you should be asking them.
Right. Are you concerned by the Epstein files?
100%.
Did you see how they used the word goyim in there?
I did. Like, it was bad enough that the most famous now in the 21st century, his last name is Epstein. You know, his last name might as well have been like Jew Goldberg Machine.
Jews are receiving a lot of criticism right now. What criticism do you think is fair?
it is fair to classify Jews as tribalistic, and that there are going to be times when Jews, certainly at least from a PR standpoint, it looks like we're either unwilling to acknowledge wrongdoing in the community, or we're unwilling to the greater world, to the secular world. There's a little bit of like a playing things close to chest and like keeping it in the community, because it's not all of us, but so many of us are grandparents. Like went through the worst thing you can literally possibly go through, or our great grandparents or our great uncles ever met, loves the United States, is grateful to the United States because they've been so wonderful to us. We sense a tide shift, and although we have a lot of power, we still feel like the underdogs.
What about Rabbi Feldman from Notoria Carta? Anti-Zionist group, they'll burn the Israeli flag, protest the Palestinian conflict.
I mean, I certainly have no issue at all with a Jew who's being anti-Zionistic. I think the burning the flags goes a little bit far, because even me, who's like not Mr. Zionism at all, I have barely any connection to Israel. The Israeli flag for a lot of people we don't see the flag and think Bibi Netanyahu. We don't see the flag and think subjugating Palestinians. We see that flag and just think that's the country where Jews go, when that's like our country.
Malcolm X said that anybody that gives even a just criticism of the Jew is instantly labeled anti-Semite. What do you think about that?
I think people probably say the exact same thing about black people. I think every minority has that chip on their shoulder. I think every minority does. I'm Jewish. My friends are Jewish. You are welcome to criticize us. We'll call you out when we think it's being conspiratorial, and when it's some of it's, if it's true, it's true. It's free speech, man.
Did you see Tyler Oliveira's video highlighting
parts of it.
welfare
I did,
in the Orthodox community?
I did. I saw parts of it. Yeah. Jews are not special in the fact that if you're okay with calling out fraud, like in Minnesota, then you should be okay with calling out fraud if you see it in the Jewish community. But energy means a lot. Vibe means a lot. And I'm sitting down with you because I like your energy. I've met your team. You guys have good energy. It's good faith energy. Go watch that video. Tyler's coming in with you would have thought the rabbi just tried to suck his penis. He came in with some real anger, and it was palpable. And yeah, maybe there were some Jews doing cover up, but do I believe some Jews commit fraud? Hell yeah, I do.
308. Uh-oh, dollar just dropped.
Where?
I'm gonna put this back in my pocket.
Give it.
Okay, tell the people who you are and what you do.
So my name is Yossi Farrow. I guess I'm well known for rapping Tefillin, which is like a Jewish prayer with the most powerful Jews in the world.
Name some people, the most powerful ones you've rapped.
So I've had the honor of rapping like billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman. I've rapped with music mogul Scooter Braun. I rapped with James Franco, the rapper Little Dicky, the president of Shopify, the CEO of GameStop.
Any Israeli government officials?
I've rapped with Yair Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's son.
Heard he's just chilling in Miami right now.
I actually lives in Israel now. For a small period, he was living in Miami, and I got to catch him there. So Chabad came here in 1940 when the Lubavitcher Rebbe moved here from Russia. But before that, this was I think the most Jewish neighborhood, definitely in New York, possibly in the entire United States. You had every type of Jew living here. All the Hasidic movements were based out of Crown Heights.
So being Jewish in America right now, what's going through your mind?
So I hear a lot of people saying they're fearful, they're scared. Obviously, we see horrible attacks throughout the country. For example, what happened in Colorado last year, the governor's house in Pennsylvania, last week in Michigan. Obviously, there are things to be worried about, but personally, I really don't see it, thank God, in my day-to-day life. I'm out and about, whether it's in New York, Miami, LA.
Can you feel it? There's never been more interest and scrutiny amongst Jewish Americans with the young people in America right now.
Yeah, definitely online.
Do you think any of it is fair?
Give me an example, I'll tell you.
Brutality in Palestine.
Brutality in Palestine. So I'm not a war expert or anything. From what I've seen and what I've heard, Israel takes the strongest effort to really minimize the brutality. And as you know, war is war. If you look at the combatants to civilian ratio, it's the lowest in any war ever. Lower than World War II, lower than the Iraq War, etc.
Oh wait, tunnel.
Oh, we got
tunnel.
100%.
You got anything down there we gotta check out?
Yeah, so basically every store keeps their inventory underground.
Oh, the inventory.
Yeah. Every
Did you
single store.
participate in the tunnel digging at the 770 building?
Nah, digging was never my strong point in school. Okay, so we're here at Bellissimo Hats. So we're here with the owner, Yossi. Yossi, can you explain us what you do out here?
What do? We make beautiful custom hats. We have all the hats for your standard Hasidic Jew. as well as like any other person around the world.
Can me and Tommy try on a cool hat?
Is this kind of like the fedora of the Jewish community?
Oh, definitely.
What is this community known for?
Community known for definitely helping people. It's a very open community. We're not afraid of the outside, so you rock up in here, we're very comfortable with you, show you around. You want to be Jewish, it's a hard job, you know, it's a big undertaking to take on a lot of the commandments, but we're open to, you guys want to join? We don't really pull people in though, like no one's trying to convince anybody to be Jewish.
I want to play a fun game. Is this person anti-Semitic?
Okay, fine, go.
Tucker Carlson.
Not sure. Probably.
Anti-Semite.
Yes.
Anti-Semite.
I think so.
No.
And Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, less so than his very dumb followers, but yes.
Anti-Semite.
I don't know. I don't know what he really believes. It's hard for me to pin down how genuine he is about anything, so I'm really not sure. I think he actually loves Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I would not be shocked if he converts someday.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to Nick Fuentes enough to make a determination.
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, I think like saying is an anti-Semite would be like, will give her too much credit. She's, I think she's just like overall really like despicable.
No.
Yeah, probably.
Miss Rachel.
No.
Did you find it hurt the case of anti-Semitism that they even named her as a candidate to win?
I'm constantly embarrassed by other Jews' takes on anti-Semitism.
I don't know who that is.
She runs the children's show on YouTube that educates kids, and she supported a kid that got blown up in Gaza, and they called her anti-Semite.
I mean, I don't really know about her. That sounds pretty bad. Anti-Semite is some bullshit made-up word. That was, somebody. It says something anti-Semitic. The Semites, what does that even mean? It's all a game, guys. It's all a game. It's good versus evil, guys. It always has been and always will be.
That's a tough one. I think she's just ill-informed.
Okay. Tough one. Do you think naming Miss Rachel as an anti-Semite weakens the cause?
It's a good question. There are reasons to think that she's an anti-Semite. There's reasons to point out that she possibly could be an anti-Semite.
What is that?
I would lean towards the favorability. And there's a thing in Judaism called Dan L'Kavschus. Always look for the good in someone. So if there's a way that maybe she's just making a mistake and whatever, then we would lean to the good and say maybe she's just ill-informed.
I think a lot of these guys aren't even anti-Semites. They're following the money. Same
Yeah.
with like a lot of, no offense to YouTubers.
But people say
So,
this is for the clicks, but undoubtedly these topics are forefront on young Americans' minds right now. No doubt about it.
Thanks to the clicks. Yeah, I guess.
No. It's because of what we see our foreign policy looking like.
I guess.
When we are bombing Iran, when it feels like it's on behalf of Israel, that's what we feel, a lot of young people. You don't think this is going to lead to war all over the Middle East?
With who?
I mean,
Who's coming to Iran's side?
If Russia or China get into the fray, gets really serious. If the entire Middle East gets involved, it's really serious.
As we see, Russia's really busy at the moment. I don't think they got the resources to go into the Middle East right now. China, I think they have their eyes on one target and one target only.
Does it feel like a double standard, though, that, okay, if Iran kills an American, it's a really big deal. But an American gets beat to death by Israeli settlers, no big deal.
I've been in the car in the West Bank, and like they're chucking rocks at us, trying to hit our cars. We go to Hebron, which is like where the tomb of like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob is. Bulletproof buses usually, and there's already like a checkpoint like by the tomb, so like there's no business that got shut down or anything. There's like a small Jewish quarter, and then the rest of it's all Arab. So as we're like driving down the hills and whatever, these guys are chucking rocks at us, trying to break the windows, and like if God forbid like your bus like breaks down and like you run out of gas or something like that, like you're screwed. Like it's only if the IDF comes to save you.
Is it naive to think that we can live in a world where it's peace through kindness, peace through...
It's super naive, bro.
I don't know, though. I mean, kindness, when someone is really, really kind to you, do you ever want to do something bad to them?
If it was only me and you on the planet, it would be no problems at all, right? Some Jews are arrogant. Some Jews are going to be really nasty, man.
Like all people?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, in some cases more. If you run into a cluster that don't know how to act, it's really bad. But that's why I'm participating in it in a way to change that shit.
As I know that there's a lot of good Jews, I just wish the good Jewish people would feel capable to call out the bad ones, the Ben Gvirs, the Benjamin Netanyahus.
Because he's in the military, and I'm not a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu, but I think the fact that he's fucking everybody up like a fucking ruthless warlord, bro, is sometimes, he's like a John Gotti, bro. Him and Trump are like mobsters right now that are keeping everybody quiet, dude. which is fantastic. A quiet neighborhood with big houses, just like, in the stereotypes, the type of houses that the Jews would be building.
We are pulling up to the house of Trax's friend Benji the jeweler. Politically, he comes across as a right-wing Jew, and I know he practices Kabbalah, which is a mystical side of Judaism that has received a lot of attention from commentators like Vrilliam and Tucker Carlson. Here's what he had to say.
We are burning spices to honor Hashem, King of the universe. Basically, King Solomon was the supreme magus that all magic and all the mysticism stemmed from. It sets the mood for you to enter a meditative transic state where you can converse with Hashem. We are powerful when we have a common goal, which is to bring Hashem's house to this world, because there is the third temple and it's created by God.
What evil do you see in the world right now?
Oh, what's going on in Iran? They're killing people like crazy over there.
So do you think a preemptive strike by Israel was necessary?
We are the watchmen, understand? We are on call. Israel is the pulse of the universe. You have to understand who you're dealing with. We are the chosen nation to come and protect the world.
So different, I think, Talmudic verses have been floating around the internet. One of them is that Jesus is reportedly burning an excrement in hell.
No, not excrement, in sperm. In a vat of sperm, he's boiling from all of the Jewish souls that were lost to Christianity.
The Talmud would have been much better off without that statement, but whatever.
It was about midnight and we turned the cameras off to end the interview and smoke a joint laced with resin. Then, after I got extremely high, Benji made the wild suggestion that we actually roll the cameras and continue the adventure to visit arguably the most sacred site of the Chabad Lubavitch community, the grave of Rebbe Schneerson, who was one of the most influential Jews of the 20th century. As Trax NYC was driving to the synagogue, it occurred to me that it might be a bad idea to show up Blaze to a religious place that would be filled with families and kids of all ages. But Benji, also Blaze, assured me that I would be welcome, and well, this is what happened next.
Let him know when to film and when not.
If you can't hide it, maybe
I think it would be better to do filming for this.
And maybe some eyeglasses clips. What's up, brother? How are you?
All of you goy watching at home, you're welcome to come on down.
Here at the Rebbe's grave, Benji offered to pray over me. He said some very nice things. We gave each other a hug, and then we went on with our night.
I think it's remarkable when people can focus on God, focus on community, focus on good values. But there's this weird disconnect. We're really in the world right now. We're seeing horrific things in front of our eyes, and then you get brought to a place where it's like, oh, we're about the peace, and everything is a contradiction. That's just any religion is to simultaneously leave this and be like, yeah, Ben Gvir is my hero. Like, I really like what he's doing in the world. It just is, to me, feels like a disconnect.
Shout out to Ben.
Can you tell us what was going on in this?
This man had a major impact on the Jewish society and community. He was able to accomplish and unify a lot of Jewish people.
For the uninitiated, it feels like a strange experience. I mean, when it's your religion, it feels normal when you're there. But this is something that watching, you're kind of like, this seems foreign, it seems different. Get the Epstein in there.
So I feel the peace in there. I feel the family. I feel the community. And then I hear from you like, oh, I like guys like Ben Gvir. It feels like it just...
I like Itamar Ben Gvir, even though he's very right-wing.
You're a bigger fan of Ben Gvir?
I'm a very big fan of Ben Gvir. I tell you, he gets a lot of bad press, but if you've been following him since day one...
He armed Israeli settlers with American guns to go ravage over people in the West Bank.
No, they defend themselves. Listen, they do.
Against international law.
Everybody has the right to bear arms.
Did you have a right to beat people over the head that are farming? Did you have the right to torture their animals?
Listen, I'm not responsible for their actions, and I wasn't there. I understand that you're angry about people's differences, but in reality, you have to understand these people run up on us. They killed in cold blood.
I think you have to look at who's the main aggressor.
So That's your opinion. Who the main
All right,
aggressor.
we figured
But
out.
in
We don't know who the
reality,
main
you know what?
aggressor
We're
is.
not there. We can't judge because we weren't there. We did not see.
The main aggressor is the Jews, boys. Come on.
The duality of man, folks. Now we're just cruising in the whip down on New York Street. Cruising. Grooving. Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Rabbi, there are a lot of things floating around the internet, and I thought the best thing to do would be go in person and get things from the source. I wanted to ask these controversial questions to a man that could help us find common ground. This is Rabbi Shais Taub. He is widely respected, has a massive social media platform, and people love him for the wisdom he exudes on his page. Here are his takes on my questions. Okay, first question. What the heck was going on in those tunnels?
They were not tunnels, but I know how it started to be called tunnels. They were trying to expand the synagogue, and the whole synagogue is basically a basement synagogue. That's where it's built. So everything there's underground, and they bashed a big hole in the wall to connect it to another property that's also underground. And needless to say, our own community was outraged that they were taking it upon themselves to smash open walls in a place of worship. So one of our own websites, meaning a local website, called it a tunnel, a sort of like, no pun intended, a dig, like to say, look, these guys are so crazy, they're making tunnels. Unfortunately, that makes really good conspiracy theory stuff, and people start saying, tunnels, tunnels, tunnels. The reality is, it was a hole in a wall between two underground properties, which was an attempted illegal, might I add, expansion.
I want to talk about the third temple.
Okay.
Does that involve Al-Aqsa going down for this third temple to come up?
Third temple is going to descend from heaven. Nobody's going in there and touching anything, okay?
So nothing needs to be destroyed for this prophecy to come true.
There's going to be something miraculous. So let's all wait and see. I mean, we believe that such a miracle will happen.
Do you think Americans have a right to be concerned about the level of Israeli influence on our government?
I think Americans have a right to know exactly who every elected official takes money from. And they should see if there's one source of funding that's more influential than others.
Please shoot me straight on this.
Okay.
Do you find these questions to be fair or outrageous?
No, not outrageous. It's what I would expect anybody who's online and sees the discussions that are going on. This is what's out there. By the way, I hope we continue some type of friendship. And if you have my contact info, your producer has my info. Like,
you can take me on a kosher date in Milwaukee. No homo though.
I will take you out. I'll take it the whole crew. We'll go out. Yeah. We're all paying separately. I'm joking. I'll treat, definitely. And you could even order dessert.
Whoa.
And drinks.
He's defying the stereotype.
That's not my intention. I'm just saying.
Hey, no, I had a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Folks, this is a video I'm very happy I did, and I was a little nervous to do so, but I'm never going to be afraid of chasing after truth. And the guys that I film with, many of them I'm still in contact with, gone out to dinner with. These are guys that I consider friends. And what they're going to try and do, I think some people will slander me and say I'm an anti-Semite or a Jew hater, which couldn't be farther from the truth. To me, it's a ridiculous way to try and intimidate you into not asking questions. And let's be real, I think I barely scratched the surface of questions that I could ask the Orthodox community. I want to actually take it another step further, and if they'll have me back, I want to go back to Crown Heights and do a part 2. But right now we have to look at the world and look at the Zionist Jewish agenda that is taking fold and really be concerned, and we should be asking questions. When you see Larry Ellison buying every media outlet that he can and put it under his Zionist umbrella, when you look at Trump's cabinet that has pushed us into the Iran war, you see the new federal chair, Kevin Marsh, who's in the Epstein files and whose father-in-law is the chair of the World Jewish Congress. I mean, these are questions that are invading our everyday life, and we have a right to know the truth and a right to chase after the truth. Happy we did this. Hopefully I still have a Patreon. Hopefully I still have a YouTube channel, but I will never stop this quest for the truth. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week.